Hello, listener. How are you? Fantastic. Look at your game. Now back to me. Now back at your game. Now back to me. Do you like video games? Yes. Do you like to laugh? Yes. Would you like the Death by Robots podcast? Of course you will. Look down. Look back up. Where are we? You're on the Millennium Falcon with a podcast that makes you laugh. What's that in your hand? A school assignment? Look again. The assignment is now an Xbox controller. Anything is possible when you listen to the Death by Robots podcast. I'm an Banshee.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Jar. Oh, God.
No, hello, it's Death by Robots.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's going to be one of those.
Nah, we can do this. Come on, it's going to be awesome with just us.
Come on, hustle.
It's like a stag-do of a podcast. I don't know why I'm saying that. It just is.
With just three of us.
Yes.
The loneliest stag-do in the world.
The worst stag-do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Ant got raped on the stag-do. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Death by... Oh, God. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Death by Robots video game podcast on thegamejar.com. Jenn and Joey aren't here this week. They're probably off fucking on some weird fuck. Oh, God. I wanted to say dogging.
They're dogging?
They're dogging.
I couldn't imagine Joey dogging.
Just really serious face the whole time.
Yeah, just like looking dead bored.
That's correct.
It'd be like, McLovin in fucking at the end of Superbad.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so wet. I just imagine Joey like, now kiss her neck. Play with her hair a little bit.
Come on.
Smell her hair. Get to the point.
Come on.
None of this foreplay, bollocks. Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Death by Robots video game podcast on thegamejar.com. Jenn and Joey aren't here this week. They're probably dogging somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? I don't even care. But so we got Lee and Ant and me, your host, Ryan. We've been doing a lot of shit this week with a load of previews. News has been a little bit soft this week as well. So we're going to mess up the format and have a bit of a lad do, or as Ant called it, a stag do. But
yes.
This is...
With three of us.
Yeah.
The three of us.
Woo!
Over the internet, talking about games.
That's the one. So, Lee, what have you been playing this week?
I played Fez.
Yes!
And found it really hard, because I'm stupid.
What's Fez? I'm sorry, I'm really ignorant.
It's a game that came out last week on Xbox Live Arcade. It's an indie game, and it's an indie game that's been in existence for fucking years.
Forever.
And like it's been in existence. It's almost like it got announced twice.
Right.
Like, and then the radar died off, and nobody paid any attention to it, and then it was announced again. It's like, it's that old. It's been kicking around for that long. And then Microsoft gave it a weird kind of launch thing. Is like, they said, oh, by the way, Fez is out next week on Xbox Live Arcade. And everyone was like, yay, Fez is out. But it's like, why have you not put any fucking effort into this?
It did come out of nowhere. I mean, I remember hearing about it.
Come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it about two years ago. And then about 3 weeks ago, it was like, oh, Fez has been given a release date. And I was like, oh, that'll be, what, Christmas or something like that? And it was like, oh, no, it's next week. And it came out of nowhere. But it's really hard to explain. It's a 2D platformer on a 3D plane, but you can spin the plane by pressing the shoulder buttons. And so, say you're on one screen, and this platform's 5 computer game meters away. When you spin it,
5 computer
I'm just trying to put
rather
it in
than the other side of your
like
fucking
normal
living
meters.
room.
I'm trying to put it in Ant science context. When you spin it, because you'll be looking head on at that point, it will then be 1 computer game meter away from you. So you'll be able to jump onto it, and then you can flip between 4 kind of, obviously because it's in 3D, You've got 4 sides of everything because it's kind of square. You get what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay. He wears a Fez.
You've got to see it. You've got to see it running.
Brilliant.
And that's why it's called Fez. The end.
So it's right. Okay.
Because the man has a Fez.
So it has nothing to do with that 70s show.
No.
Right.
Nothing.
Or Tommy Cooper.
Because it was fucking shit. But anyway, regardless, it's a really, really cool game. Sorry, I'm taking your thunder here. But I would suggest getting the trial, Ant, just to give it a go. The music on it is fucking awesome. The art style's really nice as well, I think. Where did you get? Did you actually buy the whole game, Lee?
No, I figured I'd download the demo to see if it actually is any good, because it's one of those games that everybody's fucking creaming about on Twitter. I go, no, Fez is amazing. Oh, it's amazing. It's such an indie landmark and all the rest of it. But at the same time, it's possible that it... But like, I've got this fucking...
I love that internet voice.
It's got like... I'm very wary of games that come out of nowhere. Like, it's like they announce them and then they're out the next week, because normally that means they're crap. And the people that are making them know they're crap. But unfortunately, in Fez's case, is that it's not crap. It's actually a good game. But I did download the trial, and I spent the best part of one night doing the trial. I was getting proper stuck on this one where you've got to climb up this like thing and then drop down off it to get a box to push the box off onto a switch.
Dude, you are fucking stupid. That took me
So
like...
I could not get that fucking box on that switch for shit. I was messing around trying to nudge it off the edge for fucking ages. I restarted the level like twice, like going in and out the door. And then do you know what happened? The stupid little floaty cube tooltip thing goes, oh, by the way, you could pick up a box by pressing X. I was like, you fucking prick.
It said that as soon as you're there. As soon as you're next to the box, that thing pops up and goes, you know what?
You didn't say it for me. I was just trying to knock the box off the edge, like, just by pushing it and trying to work out... I was, like, trying to push the box and then swish it dead quick so that, like, the box hit the button as the world was spinning and stuff. I was like, oh, my life.
You moron.
So I haven't bought it yet, but I will be. But then Trials HD's come out this week, and I really want to play Trials. So
well, you got the demo of that at the very least you can get on.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put my money at the minute. Although Fez is 800 points, that's fucking cheap.
It's a week before payday. That's my biggest problem. So I'm like, I haven't got the £6-7 to throw into my Xbox to play an arcade game at the moment for at least a week.
Are you guys on Xbox Live Rewards?
No.
What's that?
Oh, Jesus. It's an Xbox website. It's called, like, rewards.xbox.com or something. It's like an actual Microsoft thing. And basically, you get... For everything you do on Xbox Live, you get money back.
So is it like a Nectar card for your Xbox?
No, you can do like surveys and...
Yeah, you can do like... It's sort of... I suppose it is sort of like a Nectar card sort of thing. Like, say if you're gold... say if you're...
I'll Nectar card you in a minute, you
Shooting
flag.
me down, son of a bitch.
Say you've got like Xbox Live Gold, and then and you're buying stuff, and... If your Xbox Live Gold for that month, you'll get, say, 20% of your spend, you'll get that back.
Right.
And then you could do, like, a survey thing, like just like one of their marketing surveys and shit, and it'll give you 23 points. And they're also doing a thing at the minute where you can get, like, I think it's 600 points or 300 points or something for free. And all you have to do is basically do what you normally do on the Xbox. You have to play a Kinect game for at least an hour, play online for at least 10 hours, and there was another one like use any of the entertainment apps for like an hour.
Feels
or
like
something like that.
Like real life achievements.
Yeah, but and like, they give you money back, like they give you Microsoft points back and they credit into your account at the end of every month. But for some reason, I must have had a bloody windfall on the fucking thing, and like I had like 800 points like credited to my account like out of nowhere. I was like, fucking hell, I'm not even checking to see if that's an error.
That's awesome. I hate you. I don't have any of that. I just pump money into my fucking account.
They've been doing that for ages.
I know, but I'm well stupid, and Ant didn't even know it existed.
No.
I'll send you. I'll send you links to it. You can sign up to it as well.
Yeah, awesome. Ant.
I've not played very
Wiley
much this
Fox.
week. I thank you, have been playing Star Wars Millennium Falcon on iOS on the iPad. It's I don't know. Have either of you two seen this game?
No.
Is that the one that's
this is
augmented reality?
Yeah. So basically, what this game is, it's an augmented reality.
Oh, that sounds really good. It sounds.
It's an augmented reality game. Oh man, I feel so.
You sound like the guy from The Mask.
I'm like, have you seen like on Bruce Almighty when the news anchor starts talking and he can't say a word? It's like that. So basically, it's an augmented reality game for iOS. You can get it on iPhone, you can get it on iPad, and it basically recreates that scene from Star Wars where you know the whole "don't get cocky" kid scene where Luke's in the Millennium Falcon on the gun, and you've kind of got. So the way it works is you've got this 360-degree kind of augmented reality shooting gallery, and you can either have the actual Star Wars backdrop, or you can use the camera on the iPad or iPhone, so that it's like TIE fighters flying around your house, basically, and you just literally spin around in a chair shooting them. So ideally, you need an office chair for this because you need to be able to spin around. But it's awesome.
Do you dress up as well when you play?
I do.
I can just imagine you like in like your fucking like blue trousers, white shirt, black waistcoat, like sat in the chair, get your headset on. Like, honestly, spinning around in and out.
I have the headset in, it ain't plugged into shit. Like sometimes I'm walking home from work and I know I'm going to be playing it, and I just start humming to myself like dum 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 dum. Yeah, it's good.
That sounds awesome. That's
it's actually really good.
That's like a genuinely immersive game. Yeah, like, you know, it's better than Connect. I mean, the Connect's like quite boring really these days, apart from dance games. But like that one's actually, you need a swivelly chair, but you know, apart from that, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's either that or you really scratch the laminate. But yeah, so
just imagine you looking like one of those dogs who runs across the floor with his arse on it.
Or like one of those cats where you put Smarties tubes on its legs and watch it walk across the laminate.
Is that an AT-AT?
Yeah. Yep. And then the other thing I am going to play is I'm going to finish. I've made a vow. I'm off work tomorrow and I'm going to beat Revelations. So by the time this is up, I will have spent most of the day just playing Assassin's Creed Revelations until my eyes bleed, and I will have completed it. That's my vow.
Cool.
But then the other thing I wanted to ask advice about, and I did tweet a bit about this. So obviously, Game went out of business and then came back into business, and there was this confusion as to their reward point system thing, because they announced, oh yeah, fuck it, you can't have them because we're out of business. But now they're back on. But I have a massive feeling that they're going to go out of business again. I don't think this is going to stick. I think
they'll be all right for a bit this time round.
Well, they've let me down once. One strike and you're out with me. So I want to spend. I've got 20 quid basically burning a hole in my pocket because I've got 20 quid worth of game points. So I'm thinking a game from this generation that tomorrow I want to go out and buy. And I did tweet about it, and the closest, like the thing that was mentioned the most was either Rage or Enslaved.
Oh, don't get fucking Rage. Get Enslaved.
Why? Talk to me. Sell it to me.
Awesome.
I will lend you.
Sell it to you.
I will lend you Rage because it's a piece of shit. Well, it's okay. It's just okay. That's the only thing about Rage. It's okay. But Enslaved.
Rage and Vanquish.
I don't like that either.
Oh no!
I've got Vanquish on the PS3, and I played Rage at Eurogamer and didn't mind it.
Enslaved and Vanquish.
Yeah, Enslaved is real cool. And if you've never played Mirror's Edge, grab that as well. Really,
I've beaten Mirror's Edge twice. I love that game.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, Enslaved is a real good one. I definitely.
Well, what about the Saboteur?
The Saboteur.
I clocked out of that about halfway through it. It was a good game. It's basically like World War II.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, but a little bit more stealthy, and everything's black and white until you like free that part of the city via, when you destroy the Gestapo in that area, like colour returns to the city. But it's also kind of moderately historically accurate. That's a real word. It's got the Eiffel Tower there and shit. It's fucking awesome. You get an achievement for jumping off the Eiffel Tower. It's cool. Cool about it. Yeah.
So it sounds like Enslaved is probably what everyone is saying I should get.
Yeah, no, it's a really good game. It's a really good game.
So that's it. So that's what I will be playing, or have been playing by the time people hear this, maybe.
Awesome. This week I played Fez as well. Only the demo because, like Lee, I just don't have the money. I was saving up for Trials, but I luckily got a code for that today, so I'll be cracking on that and telling you about it next week. Really enjoyed Fez. Didn't get stuck in it like Lee. Nowhere near as bad as Lee. I'm perplexed how fucking stupid you are, Lee. It's amazing.
It didn't give me the tool tip.
It did. You're just silly.
It didn't. The stupid little square didn't say fuck all. He sat on the top, fucking floating around, mocking me.
It reminds me of like the paperclip. Like, looks like you're trying to print a document.
That was pretty much how I felt. It was like after about an hour of pissing about with it, the little box pop up, and it was like. I think it was actually being sarcastic. It said something like, "You do know you can pick the box up with X, right?" I was like, "You prick."
I finished Mass Effect 3. Didn't see anything wrong with the ending whatsoever. Don't know what the fuss is about. Load of shit.
What did you go with?
The probably the best choice, the
Which
nicest
one?
choice.
Best
The
choice.
one
Synergy.
Yes.
Oh, fuck that.
But my ED and Joker were together because at the end normally it's Garrus and Joker I saw, but
Yes.
ED and Joker. And I turned around to Jen and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like ED, it'd be nice if Joker was called Adam. Like that would be cool. You know what I mean? Like
Adam and Edie.
yeah, I thought that would be a really yeah. Seriously, I was expecting that to kind of happen in a weird way, but I bet the directors are kicking themselves for not coming up with that one sooner.
Joker's real name might be Adam.
No, it's
It's
Jeff.
Jeff Moreau.
Oh yeah, it's Jeff.
We looked it up. I was like, I'm gonna double check this.
Look, you didn't know that?
No, well, Joker, innit, you know. But Edie always calls him Jeff. So, but, you know, you just forget those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought I was a bit upset there wasn't a big final boss, if you know, like. And also there was one other thing which really, really annoyed me is that there's a couple of final questions you can do with, I don't want to spoil it too much. One of the last guys you talk to, there's a couple of speech checks with him. And you can be positive or negative through 3 of them. I'm full Paragon, every game, full Paragon, nicest guy, you know, I saved everyone, none of my Normandy, I'm like the most Paragon man alive. Very, very, very last speech check, I couldn't do. And I got really annoyed. I feel literally, it feels like it's rubbed me. That's upset me more than this.
What can you do it if you're full?
I've looked into it, and I missed one speech check at the very beginning of the game where you have to be a renegade and then you get or something like renegade or you have to be a bit of an arse and then you get an option to make a Paragon choice and that adds to the very, very, very final question.
Whoa,
Wowzers.
fuck that.
Yeah. And that would have made the guy, one of the last guys, kill himself.
I tell you what, I was disappointed at, because I know what you're saying about there being a lack of a boss fight, and I do think the thing that I really like the ending of the game, and I really like the game as a whole. Obviously, that's why I gave it a 10. But the thing that frustrated me was that they were building up the entire fleet coming to your aid, and you're rallying up this fleet to come and save Earth and take the battle to Earth, right? Well, yeah, but then there's this really so. You do that final mission and you go back to the Earth relay and there's this really like awesome moment, this like stand on your seat cheering, hair standing up, goosebumps, massive erection moment where all of the ships from all the different fleets come out the relay at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is awesome, and then this massive battle kicks off and it's like
Red team go.
Yeah, and it's like as good as it's like Star Wars, the trench run. It's like this is so cool. But then the second you land on Earth, it kind of loses that tone. It's like, I was expecting to be like, I don't know, going down a street on Earth, killing some Reapers, and then just when I get cornered, like a load of Krogans barrel out of a building and come to my aid, or like an Asari airstrike comes over and helps me. And like,
I get you.
It didn't happen. Like, I wanted to fight a massive fucking Reaper at the end, and everyone comes and helps me, and it just.
Instead, you get like the odd red post box. Phone box to remind you you're in England.
Yeah. It's like the closest thing you get to a boss fight is the final showdown with Kai Leng, who I thought was brilliantly introduced into the game.
I thought that was done really badly.
But I can't. It's one of the things where I can't speak for someone who hasn't read the books, obviously, because I have. It is, but Kai Leng, like that, it makes complete sense if you know his character and you know what he's done, and you know who Paul Grayson is from the books. You kind of get him. But so like that was half of a boss fight, and then you know that bit where you're at an intersection in London, and basically they just send a fucking shit ton of brutes and banshees at you.
Well, it's like 3 brutes and then 3 banshees after each other. Yeah, fuck that thing, man. That took me 2 fucking days.
I died quite a few times.
It's frustrating because it's kind of cool. It's hard, but then that's the closest thing you get to a boss fight.
That is the boss fight. That is the final boss fight, which is what kind of got me. It was hard. It was hard, but you know, you only have to dig yourself in a hole somewhere, have a load of health kits, have a good weapon set up, and you're laughing. Like, I don't know. I tell you what, one thing I really did like is that it's really hard to get the money to buy a Spectre weapon. you have to not level up other certain things.
Oh,
I thought that was good, rather than just like buying everything.
I don't know about that. I did my usual thing of doing every single side quest, everything in the game, and I had too much money as usual.
Yeah, I had a lot of money at the end. I didn't even buy the Spectre shit. I think I bought the Spectre pistol. I was getting pissed off with the whole game all the way through because like I just couldn't find a fucking assault rifle that I was happy with. And in the end, I settled on the N7 pistol.
I tell you what, did you like that pistol that fired the little blue balls that exploded? That was awesome.
That was my favourite
pissed me
one.
off.
The plasma one.
It pissed me off.
What?
That on an Atlas.
Yeah.
Just fucking tore them apart, man. It was awesome, and they really helped with Banshees as well. Anyway, that's enough about Mass Effect. Let's stop that.
Never enough about
Yeah, because we'd always talk about fucking Mass Effect.
I also played the demo for Sniper Elite version V2, which
Sniper.
Sniper, Sniper, which is based on an old like 2005 Xbox game, Sniper Elite. I don't know if you guys played it.
Nope.
It's a really simple sniper game. The demo's out on Xbox Live. Cover shooting, like nothing too special about it apart from you can put like tripwires and shit down. But what makes it amazing is that it's got a really good slow-mo X-ray mode when you're killing someone, when it's a good hit. And there's something about that what makes the game absolutely, utterly amazing, and like it makes you feel like the biggest pimp. It's like scoring the best goal on FIFA every time, if you get what I mean. It gives you, like, there was this guy walking around, and I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking fuck you up. Shot him from really, really far away. Thought I just got like a mid-section shot, but then it all went slow and everything. And the bullet you saw it going X-ray, and it just went through his heart, and it came out his spine, and the guy was like, bah! And like another shot, like, I got a headshot from the back of the head, but when it zoomed in and went X-ray, it showed very clearly that I took out the back of his head, and then his eye came out. Like, it was... Wow. I don't know, it's something gratuitously... Like, there's something amazing about seeing the weapon damage you're doing as opposed to just bullet sponges.
Is that the one that uses the Cry engine?
I don't know what it's got.
There's a sniper game that uses the same engine as Crysis.
That might be Sniper, which I didn't really like. They're making a second one of that. I don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, just seriously, give it a go. Give this game Sniper V2 a shot, and you'll see exactly what I mean. I hope the rest of the game's really, really good and just doesn't get boring, but it's really, really enjoyable. And finally, I played this game called DLC Quest, which it's an Xbox arcade game. I had 80 points spare, so I went looking. And what it is, it's a platforming game.
Oh, it's an indie game?
Yeah, it's an indie game, 80 points. And what it is, it takes the piss out of DLC. So you start the game, and you have to buy content to carry on playing. But obviously not real money. You need to collect money within the game. So the first thing you have to do is get enough coins to be able to run left. You have to buy DLC to be able to run left. The second one, you need to buy coins to actually have movement, so your legs move and you can jump. Then the next one's to get sound effects. The next one's to have a pause menu. And it goes along, takes the piss loads. There's like one point where you need like 500 points to go through the spooky forest, like coins to buy the DLC to go through the spooky forest. You go through the spooky forest, and then a bit later on you want to go back. It goes, by the way, you need to buy the nighttime version of this now, so that's another 500 points. It's really funny, and it's like there's one DLC which is open throughout the whole game, which is like armor for your horse. And if any of you know about Oblivion 4, it was a piss take. There was this thing that it was like 240 Microsoft points to put armor on your horse. It was the most pointless. Like, everyone's quite aggressive about that DLC. It was like the first kind of real, we're getting screwed over by DLC. You can buy...
it was one of the first DLCs.
Was it the first? Okay, well...
Horse Armor was one of the first DLCs on Xbox Live.
It was also the first piss take. You can buy that for your horse, which you can't actually ride, which is funny enough as it is. But once you complete the game, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but it becomes very, very relevant that buying that was actually the best thing to do within the game. And it's even got silly things like you've got a sword, and at one point, you need to buy this DLC to have the most overpowered weapon, which ruins the whole game for you, which turns out to be a gun, and you can just kill everything in one shot. Like, like it really takes the piss, like in a really, really good way. And considering it's only 80 Microsoft points, it took me about half an hour, 40 minutes to complete.
What's it called? DLC Hero or DLC Quest?
DLC Quest.
I'm gonna have a look at that.
It's just really funny because like everything we slag off about DLC, it's in there. and it just takes the piss out of the whole time. Like,
Does the game update when you first get it?
No, it doesn't do that. But once you complete it, you have to buy DLC to play the actual ending. Like, it's fucking genius. It's fucking genius. Yeah, so that's what we've been playing this week. We've also, as a big old gang, we've had the Game Jar server up again by the lovely Almighty Otter, who is my new favourite best friend ever. Mm-hmm. I don't know, do you guys want to talk about it? I've got a dry throat, I've been babbling now.
Battlefield, yeah, the Game Jar Battlefield server is back up. He tweeted me and told me earlier. So if anybody wants to come and join in, I don't know what maps he's running at the minute. He does change them around a bit. It's mostly the good ones, and like with as many weapons and vehicles and stuff. Mm-hmm. Just dicking about. Tends to only do one round on them as well, so it's not like you do one round from one side, then one round for another. So it's a good laugh. So and he'll occasionally put it on a mode where he occasionally puts it on and he sets like your health to like really high or something, but then the weapon damage from a gun as to nothing. And then, but then the kill strength from a knife to maximum, and then he just doesn't come up when you start the game. He's like knife fight, so like the only way you can kill people is with knives.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's like silly little things like that on there from time to time. That is on. If you just search for the Game Jar with spaces in it, it should pop up on Battlefield. That's on the Xbox 3.
We've been switching between that one and Dan Sheridan from EA has put a community server on as well, hasn't he? So we've played a bit of both.
Yeah, EA Action Man's got his server up as well. I've been playing with that a bit.
Can I just send a giant fuck you very much to that guy from Gamer Dads who kept fucking stealing my tags. Son of a bitch. I was getting so annoyed with him. I don't. What was his name? Begins with E. It's like really short, and he had a one.
Etsy.
I've never met you in real life, but if I ever do, I'm going to trip you up in public. I don't like you. Seriously, really annoyed. I'm going to find you at Eurogamer, and I'm going to hire a dwarf to stoop down behind you, and then I'm going to walk up in front of you and push you over him. It's going to be Peter Dinklage, son of a bitch. Tyrion fucking Lannister up in this shit.
Fucking hell.
The best thing about watching that, right? Me and Ant, when we first ever like kind of met and started playing Battlefield together, which was probably about 8 months ago now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably about that. When we first started playing Battlefield, he was just in the plane the whole time, and I really thought, like, you know, I love flying the plane, never getting any kills, just flying around. And I haven't played Battlefield for probably about 6 months now. Got back on it the other day to play with these lads. Had a really, really good time. Kept on coming second. I needed to put that in there.
You need to add that.
I ain't lost a fucking step. I'm still.
It says in the show notes, Ryan is shit at the game.
Yeah, who put that there? I obviously put that there myself. Self-sabotage. But anyway, the thing is, like, I thought Ant might have grown up a little bit and realised that this is not the best way to play the game is by flying around and crashing all the time. But no, as soon as I get on the server, look up, Ant just fucking kamikazes into like one of the enemy players.
No, but hang on a second. I take issue at this because so here's what happened. So Ryan's getting nailed by one of the enemy helicopters, and I see it and think, like a champ, I'll take one for the team, and I'll just fucking Taliban them. So I came flying in like Iron Man, and I just like square on. It was like prepare for ramming speed. It was like that scene in First Contact. I was like, what?
You're still obsessed with being in the plane,
yes.
So I just don't. I did see you on the ground once, and not even once. Just too busy flying around.
See, the thing is, the thing that you don't even see is that the entire time I'm flying those jets, I'm humming to myself the Airwolf theme tune. Good.
Yeah. Come and play with us, everyone, because it's fucking. I kind of got a bit bored of Battlefield, but I'm really enjoying just being able to play with my mates. Apart from the guy who just sent me a message after 2 minutes of being like, call me a fucking retard. Don't
what
like
did
him.
You do?
Not my friend.
What did you even do to deserve that?
I pulled out my Ryan special, which was get in a helicopter, wait for a few people to jump in, and then go and crash
You're
it.
a cunt. in the best possible way.
He was trying to troll a troll. It didn't work. I'm sorry.
I tell you, the most annoying thing that's like Ryan-esque in that kind of way is people started getting in cars, driving them towards me at high speed, and then getting out just before the car hits me, so it does kill me. And it doesn't count.
Oh no!
as a
Do you know who
chain
that
kill.
was? That was
Was it
Joey.
Joey?
That's Joey.
That was fucking Joey.
Fuck
Joey, you
Joey.
cunt.
It's a good job he's off
Joey.
dogging. Love you, Joe.
We were saying earlier, we can imagine Joey like watching the dog game, just like, hurry up, you're not doing it right. This isn't good. Ugh.
This is good. Come on, guys. Come on. I've got somewhere to be.
I love you, Joe.
Anyway, the other one is so me and Lee have been at a lot of events this week. Well, I've been at one and Lee's been at one, but there's been a lot of shit going down. So Lee went to the EA showcase. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, I can do.
Go for it.
Where to start? Right. Actually, no, I'll tell you where I'll start. I'll go on to the games in a second. I need to say hello to two people, Tyrone and Kate, who gave me quite possibly one of the most surreal moments of my life. Walked into this hotel lobby. I grabbed a cup of tea, went and just found a table and stood by. It was the wonkiest fucking table in the world. And then just out of nowhere, this girl's sort of starts coming towards me, which doesn't happen very often. And she's like, Lee! And I'm like, yeah? She's like, I was like, what? Who the fuck are you? And she was like, hi. She's like, I'm Kate, we listen to your podcast. I was like, really?
People
And
do.
she was like, yeah, we do. She's like, my friend got me into it, and then she called her friend over, and then he's like, oh yeah, man, how you doing? And he was like, fucking well, happy to see me and shit. He was like, we listen to your podcast all the time, it's brilliant. And I was like, fuck off. I was like,
You lying
"Fuck are ya?"
bastards.
I was like, don't bullshit me. But then she was like, no, we loved it. She was like, and then Kate goes like, she's like, Ant, Ant's my favourite. I love Ant.
Aww.
And I was like, she says, his Chobot rant was awesome. And I was like, his Chobot rant had about 10 minutes cut out of it.
It got a hell of a lot worse.
I was like,
Seriously.
his Chobot rant was a lot.
I have
than
never
that.
used the word cluster chart so many times within the space of 3 minutes. But
I mean, we sail pretty close to the wind a lot of the time, and it's not very often that things get that bad we have to cut shit out. But there is a chunk of 10 minutes of you just going at it, and so sort of I told her that, but it was just fucking surreal. And they're like, yeah, we look at the website and shit in the office all the time. I'm like, I don't fucking believe you, but all right, okay. So yeah, I wanted to say hello to those two. So hello to Tyrone and Kate.
It's nice to get that kind of I'm amazed that you even get that kind of reaction, that someone come and find you, considering we've only been doing the website for 3 months.
We're about to hit 3 months,
and the podcast, we're not aware how many fucking listeners we get on the podcast. We just do this for
You're
shits and
not, I am.
giggles. You are, okay. I don't. It's still, we don't get a lot of comments all the time. So as far as I know, it's like 50 people listen to this at the most. It's more than that, I know, because it comes up on iTunes. But that's how we like to treat it, and it's just really, 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 really nice when you get any form of I don't know. You spend so long doing this stuff, but to have someone come up to you and it's fucking awesome, man. So well done to everyone, especially who are they again? Let's go and find them and give them presents.
Tyrone and Kate.
Tyrone, what a name.
Of course I am.
Anyway, carry on.
Right, okay. Right, what shall I start at? I've got a list of...
Where was it?
It was in London.
So go on, tell us where it was. So you went to London.
I went to London in a thing, and then it was in the hotel. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't in the hotel. It was in a fancy-ass building with a bar at the bottom, and then a cinema just off the bar. And then we went in there. They showed us all the stuff. Then we come out of there, and then we got to go around and look at all the stuff a bit more in depth. Did
they give you food? Did they give you drink?
There was beer. The sandwiches looked a bit over-engineered, so I kept well away from them.
Confusing.
Yeah, I've got this thing.
Please elaborate.
Sandwiches don't need to be too complicated for me. I'm quite a simple guy. It's once more than as complicated as my sandwiches get. I like a chicken teriyaki from Subway. If a sandwich gets any more complicated than that, I'm not interested.
You wouldn't like me then.
So, yeah, I didn't touch the sandwiches, and there was no chocolate or sweets or anything. There should have been a big jar of gummy bears. Or
I tell you, whenever you go to these events, that's what they do wrong. Like the one I went to, it was like croissants and almond croissants and like bits of pretentious meat on small bits of bread and shit like that. And like you say, like if they just had chocolate, I'd be happy.
If they just like chocolate and
Box
bacon
of
sandwiches
yeah,
and shit,
some
but
Pringles.
like,
Box of Pringles.
Yeah.
We sound like arseholes for fucking moaning about it
No,
now.
we're just simple people, and we have simple wants. We don't need to be waited on like fucking kings, man. We don't need 18 ingredients in our sandwiches. We don't need it to be a BLTNRCRKSSSBLTS. You know, just I'm making a special sandwich of BLT with loads of other ingredients.
All right. Okay. Anyway, right. Games.
Go.
I'll get through some of the smaller ones first. I played a game called Warhammer Wrath of Heroes, which is an online free-to-play game that ties into the Warhammer Online MMO, sort of loosely, where it's just like it's like a PvP mode. So you play like there's like 3 teams, and it's just an all-out sort of fight. But it's for anybody who's like really into their MMOs and they like doing just the PvP stuff. I think they probably quite enjoy playing Wrath of Heroes. I don't think it's actually out yet. It's about to hit beta. There's like about to be a second wave of beta tests or something like that before they launch it properly, which I'm sure is coming up soon. I will clarify it at some point on the website next week. But it was a pretty good game. I mean, anybody who's into MMOs are really like that. I personally found it really fucking hard because like I could never do PvP on MMOs. I'm just shit at it. I'm the sort of guy that like has to phone my brother up to come and save me when I get stuck in a thing on Warcraft or something, and he's like, "Oh, for God's sake." But yeah, that was really good. Played plenty of iOS games as well. There's this one that you'll have, Ant, called I think it's called Commando Jack or something like that. Nice. It's a tower defense game. But it has a twist to it, whereas you have your commando at your end of the battlefield, and then when you want to, anytime you want to, sort of during the thing, you can then go into like this commando sat in a turret, and then you can control the commando and like fire first person at the other things that are coming through you. Sort of like like the camera angle changes. Yeah. That was pretty good, and then you get like perks and stuff. You can call in like an aerial bomber and shit like that. It was actually a pretty good game. That's made by Chilingo. What else did I play? I played Burnout on the iPad as well, which is already out. That's actually a really good game. I want to say it's like it is on the consoles, but I know a lot of people didn't like it on the console. It is better than that. I think it suits iOS a lot better than it probably does the console, just because of the way you can play it. It's almost got that sort of Angry Birds appeal to it, where you can just sort of like you just play like one round, or you can just keep playing it, and it's got auto log integration in there and everything like that, so you can compete against your mates and all and everything. So I was quite impressed with that. What else did I play? UEFA Euro 2012 DLC, which we spoke.
Yeah, he was talking about it. He was saying how happy he was that it's they're doing it as DLC and not as a full game. Which is
and not as a full game. Is really fucking good.
What have they changed it? Or?
What
have they addressed the fact that they've bastardized the defense system from the NBA games?
I don't know. I haven't played the NBA games.
Because in the new FIFA game, that like how the controls are set up for defense is like radically different to the last few FIFAs.
I don't know. I've played the last few FIFAs. I'm probably not the best person to. I'm probably not the best person to write the fucking preview on it.
So basically, what they've done is the difference between FIFA 11 and FIFA 12 is like they've changed the defense system so that like you can bring in other players and you can do like zone marking and it's other stuff. But part of the thing that I spotted with it is that you can tell that they've brought in a lot of the same kind of format and way it works to the other EA sports titles, so Madden and specifically NBA.
Right.
And I don't know if it's so that they can try and make it so that if you play one EA sports game, you can kind of jump into the others a bit easier.
Might be.
But it really is. But I don't think I see where they're going, and I think it worked okay. But I know a lot of people complained about it, and for me, I think they tried too hard to shoehorn it in, and
everyone I know who plays FIFA has completely gone off it due to that defensive mode.
I will I'll say I don't know for definite, but I will find out in the preview. I will tentatively say that the gameplay probably hasn't changed from FIFA 12 because nobody made a point of telling me that they'd fixed it. If they'd had said, "Oh, by the way, we fixed the defense issue," then I'd said for sure. So I'll tentatively say that they haven't, and it's pretty much exactly the same.
I'll give you a clue as to how bad it was. A friend of mine went to buy FIFA 12 from Game, bearing in mind Game would sell you a rusty turd out of their own arsehole still steaming. And they still said to him, "Oh, yeah, you want to buy FIFA 12? Just to let you know, it's not very good and loads of people are bringing it back. You might just want to get 11. That's how bad it is.
Bizarre. It has added a new mode into it, though. It's got like the tournament mode and everything, like you'd expect it to. It's got this mode called Expedition Mode that I actually thought was quite clever. It was just something that's a bit different. What you do is you pick your favourite football player, and from there, what it does is it will then generate a team just completely picked at random from all the players across Europe, and then you can name your team. You give them a name, pick their kit, pick their badge, sort of all the rest of it, and then it gives you a map of Europe. And then what you have to do is you basically have to travel around Europe, sort of conquering each of the cities. And then when you've travelled from... You start off in one city, and then when you beat them, you get to pick a...
When you say conquer the city, I'm guessing you don't mean violently.
No, not violently, no. Yeah, it's football hooligan mode.
For FIFA. Oh, that is so good.
So like you take control of you control sort of that area if you like, and you get to pick one of the players from the other team to join your squad.
Okay, so you're not stuck with a shit squad the whole time, yeah. No,
you're not. Yeah, I mean you'll have a fairly shit squad to start, but then once you beat a team, you get to pick a player from their team, and then you can then go on to another. Obviously, you go on to a neighbouring city, and it'll build a road. Like when you've beat them, you can then pick another one of their team. And then add them to your roster, and then you cycle up to. It creates a road between the two towns, so that you can sort of. I'm trying to think how to explain it. It's almost like a part of it's like obviously like FIFA, but then like another parts of it almost like a strategy board game.
Surprising enough, this is kind of what we was talking about the other day. I mean, we was talking like a story-driven kind of. Single player mode, but to a degree this kind of feels that boost, like, you know, it does give it another game within the game to play.
But it was
I've been moaning about this for a long time in FIFA. Like, I've been saying little things like, wouldn't it be cool if you could do a mode like this where, like, I don't know, if one player did a particularly bad foul, he got booed for the next couple of games, just like little touches to give it more of a continued atmosphere, like you were building something. So it sounds like they are addressing it.
But then they're also doing, what I thought was very clever, they're doing like a challenge mode to it. So what they've said is that running up to the tournament, they will effectively do what they do in like quite a lot of EA games and almost get you to reenact like actual football games that have happened. Which I think they've done in other FIFA games in the past, but like they're going to be specific to the championship, so they might ask you to replay games from like the warm up matches and stuff like that, and then like you'll get rewards based on sort of whatever the fuck it is you do. It's a different challenge each week, and whether it's in-game money or what, I'm not sure. But then when the actual championship is on, they'll be running tournaments and stuff sort of online with challenges that are set to exactly the same as what happens in the actual game, like in real life. So they're tying the game really, really closely into like the actual tournament, which for a football fan, I'd imagine is quite a. I mean, as I suppose a gamer, I actually thought that was actually pretty clever that they're doing that. But for somebody who's like a real proper football fan and is probably still playing FIFA now, I'd imagine they'd be quite excited for something.
Sure,
like
that's awesome.
So yeah, that was FIFA. What else did I play? I got to see SimCity running. I know it's going to sound daft, but SimCity is a fucking good game.
It's not fucking 1992 anymore, Lee.
Oh no, mate! Seriously, here's the thing, right? It's not 1992
anymore.
Were you
wearing popper pants while you were playing?
He's wearing a shell suit. Don't go near that bonfire.
Kappa trainers, bright luminous yellow Kappa trainers.
Seriously, that is a fucking good game. You love SimCity, Anne. You and your attention to detail, you would fucking love SimCity.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it uses this really fucking gorgeous art style, whereas like it's they use it. It's called tilt shift. It's like a photography term, and it makes like real world objects look like toys. Well, not toys, like sort of models and miniatures and stuff like that. So like the whole game's sort of like that. All of the buildings and everything, they all look like miniature models, sort of things.
To be fair, I do have a soft and sometimes hard spot for Theme Hospital, so I probably would
Yeah,
like it.
but like it's just really fucking clever. Like in old SimCities, like say like if you've got an industry park, like so you've got an industry park connected by a road to a residential park. You know that the residential park, like in the old SimCities, it might as well just been a fucking animated GIF. Eventually, it'd just pop up into life, and there'd be a couple of buildings on it, and then the industrial park, there'd be like a little couple of GIFs of some cars running up and down the road, and then the industrial park would pop to life, and then you'd need to run water and power to them and stuff like that.
Right.
In this new one, like everything that you see is effectively, if you think of it like a unit, like everything that you see is what's being simulated. So if you've got a how best to explain it? I'll walk you through the demo actually that they gave us. It started off in like this town that was already pre-built, and then the guy goes in and he builds a road. And he actually builds a curvy road, which is like never happened in SimCity. So that's like a big deal for SimCity players, is that you can now build curvy roads. Just by sort of tracing the path that you want it to take with the mouse. Then you drag out like a residential area sort of around the road. Yeah. And then once you've done that, builders will come up the road from out of town or wherever. They'll park outside and they'll start knocking up the houses. And like you can watch the houses being built out of like the timber frame goes up, and then the bits go up, and then like the paneling goes on and all of this, and then the drive gets done, then the garden gets done, and then the for sale sign goes up. And then you leave it and then like you sort of watch it for a bit, and then if the house is sort of in the right sort of place and that people want to move into it, then a moving van pulls up, and then people get out the moving van, the for sale sign comes down, but then you can actually watch them like moving their boxes and shit into the house. But the moving van's parked in the road, and it was just like a little one-way traffic lane, so a car comes up behind the moving van, and it creates a bit of a traffic jam, and then this spills out onto like this big main road, and then there's like this big ass massive traffic jam going on. So it's like everything's got like this weird little like real world sort of like consequence thing to it. And it's just like fucking insane. And then when it's time for the guy in the house to go to work, when it's the morning, the guy gets in his car, he drives up the road, he goes to work, he gets into the building, and then the building all lights up and then starts doing stuff, and it's fucking nuts. If anybody's really into SimCity, it's everything that, I suppose with the older ones, you always have to fill in the gaps like that. Like with your imagination, whereas like now, you can just see all of that shit going on, and it's just, it's fucking really good. I'm really excited for SimCity, and it sounds weird.
Certainly does.
But yeah, it's quality. I got to him.
It sounds really in depth, and like, you know, I want to see it play, if you know what I mean. But it does sound like it's one of those games that will just take your whole life away from you.
Well, yeah, it's the sort of game that like I don't think if I had it when it's out, I probably wouldn't really touch it in the week. But like on a Sunday, when I get up, it's just like I can't be asked doing anything too fucking heavy gaming wise. Like I'll sit up and I'll just fucking crash and play SimCity for like all the day, probably. So that was really good. Move on to I suppose one of the biggest games that I saw. I got to see Medal of Honor running. Like actually running, like with a person playing it, and all the graphics and the gameplay and everything. It's fucking awesome.
Did you not get to get hands on?
Not with Medal of Honor, no.
Oh.
They were showing off one small section. To be fair, I think it's the first time they've shown it off. Has there been a gameplay trailer for it yet, Ant?
For Medal of Honor?
Yeah.
There was there's that one this week that they kind of touted as a gameplay trailer, but kind of. See, for me, a gameplay trailer is where you get to see like a solid, at least 10 seconds of a chunk of a mission.
Oh, it was all just flashes.
So it kind of technically was their gameplay in it, yes. But it, for me, didn't fulfill the criteria of a gameplay trailer. But I'm really, everyone knows, I'm really excited for Medal of Honor. I was playing it with Steph this week, team on Twitter. I was playing, as in not the new one, I was playing the old one. And to be fair to that game has still got people playing it online. And that you might think, well, so what? So is Call of Duty 4. But I will grant you that Call of Duty 4 still has people playing on it, but Killzone 3 doesn't. I tried playing Killzone 3 the other week on my PS3 and I struggled to find a game because no one's playing it. So the fact that Medal of Honor on both consoles still seems to have people playing it shows that they must have done something right. So it can't just be me being mental. It must actually be a half-decent game for a change.
Or maybe loads of people are mental. Like, just there's loads of ants who are just fucking ridiculous people.
But no, I mean, no, I seriously, like Medal of Honor, because Lee texted me when he was, or Jenn texted me saying, can you text any questions about Medal of Honor to Lee that I might personally have? Because he was about to see the Medal of Honor people. And one of the ones that I texted Lee, but I don't think you got the chance to ask this, was like Medal of Honor purposefully put itself in like the middle of Call of Duty and Battlefield. So take the tight, smaller maps and focused gameplay and franticness of Call of Duty, but put the graphical style and weapon handling and grittiness and squad kind of management and objective-based stuff of Battlefield, and kind of make them have sex and produce some kind of hermaphrodite of a game. And that's what Medal of Honor did, and I really enjoyed that. But I said to Lee, could you specifically ask them, are you staying there? Because I wouldn't want them to move one way or the other.
They weren't talking about multiplayer. Like a couple of people that are sort of in our group, when we had like a Q&A session at the end, they were like trying to get the guy to answer questions about multiplayer, and he was like, we're not talking about it at this time. And I was like, fucking dickhead, you just wasted your question. Of course, they're not fucking talking about the multiplayer, otherwise you'd have shown us the fucking multiplayer. So,
but that's like, apart from that, the only other thing I wanted to know is, like,
sorry,
are they? So like, obviously, I'll ask you, Lee. Are they keeping? Because I know they're bringing back a lot of the characters. So in your task force, there was like, let's see if I remember, like there was Juice.
Hang on, I've got
Juice, not Juice. DEUCE.
You're thinking of blank check, mate.
No. There was Juice, Preacher, Rabbit.
Preacher's in it. Rabbit's not, for obvious reasons.
Yep. Spoiler alert for a 3-year-old game.
Hang on, here you go. Somebody called AFO. I don't remember who AFO was.
I don't think he was in Medal of Honor.
Unless it's a new name. Maybe it's a new character.
No, that must be new.
There's somebody called AFO. There's one called Voodoo.
Voodoo Preacher. Yep.
A guy called Neptune. A guy called Preacher, and they make up Task Force Mako, which were the ones that we got to see in this particular bit. Something that they're doing with Medal of Honor, though, is that with this new one, they've took like a lot of sort of real world news stories and headlines and stuff.
Yep.
And they've effectively told those stories within the game, and then tied them all together into one big overarching plot. So if you think about it as like lots of separate campaigns, like separate little missions, and then again they all sort of tie sort of into each other.
Well, that's really good, because one of the things that I said to you was, and I would say it to EA's face, is how are you going to stop this from turning into a Michael Bay cluster wank?
Do you want to know something? It is absolutely fuck all like Michael. That trailer probably didn't do it any favours. The bit that we see him playing weren't piss all like that.
That's good. That's good though. That's what I want to hear.
It's not. It was. I'm trying to think how best to explain it. It's very human. Like, that's one of the things that they were keen to sort of say, that they are doing, because, let's be honest, there's fucking Call of Duty and there's Battlefield. Why, if you're gonna, they're effectively doing the same sort of game, and it could be argued that because they're even using the Frostbite engine, that it's not even that far removed from Battlefield. But one of the things that
Medal of Honor is the campaign I wanted Battlefield to give me. Like, if you play the reboot Medal of Honor, that is better campaign-wise than Battlefield by a country mile.
Oh, yeah, fucking hell, yeah. So this demo thing starts off with, is the guy with the beard Preacher?
No,
Was
the,
it
the
Voodoo?
main guy, the guy who was on the cover of Medal of Honor.
It was probably he was one of the main guys in the first one.
I thought he was either Rabbit or Juice.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a guy with a beard.
Yep.
And
Call him Santa.
it starts off this sort of mission that they showed us. It starts off, and it's like
Yep.
it's like, I want to say it's quite arty, but it's not like over the top arty. It's just like him in a corridor, just sort of like up against the wall, just sort of like he's not under fire or anything. He's just taking fucking 5 minutes, and you can see it in his face that he's like looking tired. And it's playing a message from his wife to him.
All right.
That like from back home, she's like she's just saying hello, but she's also saying like how she's talking about like how she misses him and how it kills her that she can't know where he is all the time and this sort of stuff. That particular cutscene, it's not over dramatic or anything like that. It's not like, oh my god, my baby, I really miss you, please come home. It's none of that shit. It is literally like a wife talking to her husband sort of thing. Like I can imagine that that conversation like felt very, very real. And then like that phone call sort of ends, and then he just sort of like he just whips around the corner, and then he's just like he's not on the phone to her. It's just playing while he's taking 5 minutes. And then he just whips around the corner, and then he just goes into like sort of straight into the mission. And it plays out. It was in like a flooded hotel where you've got to save some hostages, so it plays out pretty much exactly how you'd expect it to be honest with you. There's a bit of, even though it's using the Frostbite engine, there didn't seem to be a lot of damage being shown in the version that we'd seen. I don't know if that's something they're not putting much of into the game, or if it's just a case of it's not.
There wasn't a lot in the last Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
to be honest.
but it was just weird to see him.
Scripted stuff.
It was weird to see him toss a grenade and then the grenade go off, but then nothing around the grenade be damaged. But again, it was like an early build, so it's probably just because they haven't put it in yet. But it was good, like seeing like a lot of the particle effects in it. They were a lot better than what they were in. It has like a very much different atmosphere to it than what Battlefield does. Like it was just like the particle effects in the air and like just paper fucking blowing around like in this hotel and shit. And obviously it was all flooded and everything, so there was like water across all of the bottom. And then that plays out. Then you get to a point where you have to breach a door to get into the room to save these hostages.
Yeah.
But the breach doesn't play out quite like it does in other games.
Is this when you say the breach, you mean like the thing where they stand outside the door and it goes slow motion? And
yeah, it is. Yeah, but I'll come back to that in a sec. So you play out through the thing, you save the hostages, and then it goes into cutscenes like while you're saving the hostages and stuff like that. It's like in pretty much any other game, you get into that room, you'd save the hostages. The hostages would just stand up, go, oh, thank you, and then they'd walk out down the steps. They would, wouldn't they?
I like the fact that the hostages are the same voice as your internet voice from earlier.
The hostages are just trolls the whole time.
Yeah, they've got troll faces.
Thank you, another indie game.
Why didn't you start a Kickstarter? Anyway, sorry. I haven't spoke for 5 minutes. I felt I need to say something, but carry on.
Like they'll get onto their boats and then just like obviously they fuck off and it's the end of the mission. But they took like really great care. Is like again to sort of like bring it back to like the human thing. Is that like it goes into a cutscene while they're saving these hostages, but it's like it's really personal. It's like the fucking guys sort of like grabbing the people and like holding their hands and taking them down the stairs and sort of stuff like that, like getting them out of the building and loading them onto these boats. And then this fucking awesome bit on this boat plays out. It's an on-rails bit where you just like they're just launching off fucking grenades at anything really, just blowing shit up on the way out. And it's like through this flooded city, so it's like it's a bit of a weird environment, but it's fucking quality. And then they get out into the open, and then these fucking Chinooks like fly overhead, and the guy just like the Chinook just lowers these two ropes, and then they attach the boat to the bottom of the Chinook. And the Chinook picks them out of the water and takes off. It's fucking brilliant. It was really good.
Oh, awesome. That's the thing that Medal of Honor did really well. Like even the bits that are like fist pump fuck yeah moments felt still grounded.
Yeah.
Whereas Call of Duty, those moments felt fucking ridiculous. Good, but fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but like,
and it's like that bit in Medal. Do you remember that bit in Medal of Honor right at the end where you're basically, spoiler alert, you're at the bottom of like a cliff, like a mountain range, and just wave after wave of enemy soldiers are coming to kill you.
Yeah.
And it's clear that you're all going to run out of ammo.
Yeah.
But that bit was like fucking awesome, but it felt real. It didn't feel over the top.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The whole game's like, well, certainly the bit that we've seen is like, it's like that. Like that's one of the things that I think they're really focusing it on. They're probably making it. They've learned probably quite a lot from the last one as well, and they're really, really focusing on making like these guys feel real. They had one guy there who was ex-Tier 1. He was an ex-Tier 1 operative. He was like US Spec Ops. His name was...
Can't say.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know his full name. It might not actually be his real name. His name was Tyler, who was like the most fucking down-to-earth bloke in the world, but at the same time he's ex-Spec Ops, so don't fuck with him. And he was talking about sort of how he got involved with the game. Basically, he got wounded in Iraq, so he ended up sort of working with Danger Close on the game as like their technical advisor and stuff like that. And just like the fucking passion that them guys have got for that game, and they also one of the things that they were keen to iterate is that they do a lot of it out of respect. Is like they know that a lot of these world events sort of played out for real. Like even if they're just loosely based on them, he said they still talk to like the families and that are involved, and just they make sure that like it's okay with them, that's the sort of thing that they're doing, because they don't obviously want to sort of upset anybody. Or sort of portray anybody wrongly and stuff like that.
That's why I don't get why they backed down when they released Medal of Honor, the original one, on the whole Taliban thing. You know, online they were going to call it the Taliban, and then they changed it, even though it's the Taliban all the way through the single player.
It's very obvious who the fuck it is. You can't stop a problem just by changing a name. It does really annoy me.
It's exactly, and it's absolutely not disrespectful. Just because the fight's going on today, it's like it is not. I don't see how that's disrespectful. Like, that game, it doesn't make a mockery. Like, if it was Call of Duty, I'd understand it, 'cause it's kind of over the top. It kind of would feel a bit like it was a mockery, but Medal of Honor does not feel like a mockery. Like, what you're saying, Lee, I really get that it's like respect. It's like done with, it's tangible. I don't know how to express this in words, but it's tangible when you play the game, that they've done it with an air of deep and solemn respect for the people that actually do this.
Yeah, they have. Like, you can just hear it in the guy's voice, like, when they're talking. It's, like, just the way how they're talking about, like, he's talking about the accuracy of, like, even down to the accuracy of all of that stuff, but then even down to the accuracy of the guns. And, like, they're changing shit sort of on the guns, and, like, the way that the guns work in all games, like you think they do, is like they're just making them more like they are in real life. Apparently there was one instance, it wasn't Tyler in particular, it was one of the other guys that they had who was like a special forces advisor on it. He was playing the game and they were asking what about it was like and everything, and then this Tier 1 operative, he was like, this game's shit, and he was getting pissed off with it. Apparently he was getting really pissed off with it and proper fucking raging, and they were like, what's the problem? He was like, I can reload quicker than that. and they were like, no, that's the right sort of pace for the reload on it. He was like, no, fuck it, it's not. And then apparently they then took that guy from the office upstairs downstairs, put him up in a motion capture suit, gave him the fucking gun, made him reload it, and now him reloading is that particular gun is like the motion capture for that thing.
That's
awesome. Sure as shit, it's a bit quicker.
Fuck.
That is fucking awesome.
And there was another instance, he said, where they're doing a bit about the door breach. Actually, I'll touch on that again. You know, like in a lot of games, and you do the door breach and it hits the whole fucking slow motion thing and stuff like that. Or you'll look under the fucking door with a mirror and all that sort of shit, or a fibre optic camera.
Oh yeah.
The guy was saying like how in real life, when you're in that situation, you come up to a door like. He said, they don't have little fucking mirrors to look under the things. We don't have little fibre optic cameras and everything. We're going through a door. We don't know what's in there. We've just got to be ready for everything all of the time. He says, we'll go up to a door. We'll look at it. What's it made out of? He says, the first thing we actually do when we go up to a door is just see if it's locked. They'll work out sort of what could be on the other side of the door. He says, you could have a room that's empty. You could have a room sat down where 6 guys are playing cards with AK-47s. He says you just have to be ready for everything all of the time. And he was talking about how one of the things that like really pisses him off is like the way that like they just slap fucking C4 onto a door and blow the door, and then go storming through the door, and then it's just like pop, 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 everybody's dead, and you just stand there in the door. He says in real life, you breach a door and you stand in the fucking door. He was like, you're gonna get dead. He's like, you'd be dead within a second, because he actually referenced Star Wars. He says, you know, episode of Star Wars when like all the stormtroopers are sort of shooting towards, I think they're shooting towards Luke and everybody like that, and they're shooting down a hallway towards them, and that's because fucking they're all stood in the doorway. It's like, he said, what you do is you get in, you get through the door, and you get down behind something as quick as you can. But because you don't know what's on the other side of the door, you don't know if there's anything there. And he was just sort of talking about that. So, just like the authenticity of it. Apparently, they spent something like a week or something daft. They built a door. They built like a room up in the mocap studio with a door on it. Apparently, they just had spec ops guys kicking down doors for a fucking week. Just mocap, just every single possible iteration of them just kicking down the door. They had them doing that for like a week. So like the attention to detail in that game is fucking insane.
Shit.
I'll be honest with you, I could probably talk about it for another fucking hour, but I probably better stop there.
See, now do you see why I keep saying Medal of Honor is better than Battlefield?
No, I never doubted you on that. I prefer the multiplayer on Battlefield, I'll be honest. But Medal of Honor, I could never quite get on with. I was quite happy with Bad Company 2 at the time when Medal of Honor was out for my online.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Right.
So, while I'm not questioning you on the single player. The multiplayer, I always preferred Battlefield, but
then I'm a COD head, and you two guys aren't.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it just takes me over the line.
I tell you what they are doing in this. Actually, one last thing. Sorry, fucking the online mode. It's called. You said earlier about the controversy that they caused with the Afghanistan.
I know what you're about
Taliban
to say.
thing. They are calling the online mode blue on blue.
Oh. No,
is that some weird sex reference to having sex with like dead people?
Blue on blue is a military term for friendly fire.
Oh, okay. So it's fun and games.
Is this the one where it's like Deadliest Warrior and it's like you pick?
Yeah, it's like you pick like you play as like the SAS, like so you can you pick your team, you'll be as the SAS, another team will be Spec Ops, and it's like versus. It's supposed to be that like so that each people that are playing it could like take pride in their country's like national fucking thing, and like they can like really take ownership to it and sort of enjoy it a bit more. Same as like with a football game, you play as England when you're playing online, sort of thing. So that's the sort of angle that they're going for it, but they've called it blue on blue, and I'm just like, you're just asking for the fucking press, not the game's press, but like the press, like Fox News and that, to kick up a fucking storm over you calling it blue on blue. Like if they'd have called it like best of the best or something, that'd have been perfectly fucking fine. But the fact that they're calling it blue on blue, I think probably gets a bit too close to the bone.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, Battlefield, that's literally all I know about
fire
multiplayer.
Kills. I have something shit like that. That'll be the next headline.
That's all literally that they were saying about the multiplayer. So yeah, I'll fucking shut up about games now. Ryan, you can.
I don't know how to beat that. That was really good. I'm like, I've got these little notes where it's like, I went to London. There was a nice man. He gave me a role. I went to Angel Steelworks, I think it was. I can't quite remember where it was. Got invited by Ubisoft to play Ghost Recon Future Soldier or
Future Soldier.
Ghost Recon
Future Soldier.
I can't beat Lee, he was too good. Ghost Recon Future Soldier, or as we started calling it, Griffiths. Or Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, if you really like want to be a bit of a dick about it.
So Tucker Griffiths.
Yeah. And I don't know if I haven't played a Ghost Recon game for a very long time. Any of you guys?
No.
Okay.
Nah.
Not since Ghost Recon 2. I fucking love the first one. I'm quite insistent that the first Ghost Recon is one of the best FPSs for single player campaign this gen. And it was one of the first games out.
Wasn't it?
It was one of the first games out. It was almost launch title.
It was like when the 360 first came out, it was the first person shooter to play online before COD 4
Well, let
came
me
out.
stop you there. This one is third person.
Oh.
So basically, I showed up a little bit late and I missed this whole kind of original conversation they had with a couple of the...
Fucking hell. How are you late? You left at like fucking 10 o'clock.
Cutting edge
I got
journalism.
so lost in London. I was like...
You're not. You want to be a fucking rock star all the time. Did you have your glasses on? You're like, Ryan's here, bitches.
No, I walked 20 minutes down the wrong direction. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm Google Maps. Oh, right, shit. Oh well. So I missed the first talk. They had a couple of their devs, which is cool. It doesn't matter. So I basically got there and sat down straight away to have like this kind of 4 people team-based kind of cooperative level stuff, which is what they're really, really pushing with this game.
Well, like Spec Ops.
Yeah, like Spec Ops, but it's basically a cooperative single-player mission is the only way to put it. But now this is the very important thing. Before we started playing, we dicked about for about 10 minutes playing with this thing called Gunsmith, and I don't know if any of you guys have heard about that.
Oh, yes, that's the thing that they'd showed off with Kinect at E3, right, where you can kind of explode the gun and look at the different bits and craft your gun up.
Yeah, kick the tyres, open the boot, you know.
I'm excited for that. That looks cool.
Right, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So I got to play Gunsmith with the control pad, and it's fucking crazy, man. Like, literally, there are 600 different attachments you can put on your gun, which put over the amount of guns, which they didn't give me a final figure was, makes over like 1 million different gun variations.
Fuck that. That's too fucking many, man. I ain't trying to.
No, but, you know, so basically what you can change is things like gas pressure, so your guns can be faster, stronger, but they'll lose accuracy, or they can be... You know, you can change, like, the optics, the paint scheme, the trigger, you can have, like, quick triggers, your ammo, you can have, like, one ammo kind of clip. Or
ammo.
You can have one ammo. One ammo, please.
One ammo.
You can have one ammo. But then you can also have...
guys and one ammo.
You're making me feel like Jenn.
And then there was a bear.
And then there was a bear. It's so great. Andy smiled. But, yeah, you can have, like, the ammo clips taped together, but then that takes, like... It's a bit more cumbersome on your gun because it's 2 ammo clips. Armor piercing. Like, literally, you can do fucking everything to your guns. We did that for about 10 minutes because it's a new thing and everyone was taking notes, and that wasted a lot of time. Loaded into the game, and we was putting our team, and but the way it kind of works, it's like... If you press the right bumper, it will come up on screen where all your friends are and where your next objective is. So you're all moving together as a big old team. When you press B, you get into like a crouch mode, which puts on this automatic optics mode, which is based on, because it's Future Soldier, it's based on nowadays technology, because you know they can make tanks go, stealth mode with mirrors and cameras, and you know that?
They can't do that.
No, seriously, yeah. And the reason, but the reason why they can't do it on actual uniforms is because the batteries are so big.
They can't do it on tanks.
They can. I'll show you a picture.
No bullshit.
Okay.
Wait, what's that? Say that again.
Right.
I'm saying they've got stealth technology on tanks. There's like fucking Metal Gear Solid where they disappear.
That bollocks.
We will conclude this later. I got told by a very reliable man in a weird suit that he tried to touch me a few times.
Your thing is, you don't need to hide a tank. You can hear the fucker coming, and even if you could hear it coming,
thing is, this man in the suit wasn't even at the event. He was just in spoons in the train.
This is when I was going for my
walk
crouched
down
in
the
wrong
corner.
direction.
Could you not see him?
Okay, so basically, when I was at the event, they said, I will look into this afterwards, but they said that tanks can be made, like, have optic camouflage, as it were, but they can't do it on humans because the batteries and shit are so fucking huge. So Future Soldier is based on nowadays technology plus a few years kind of thing. So anyway, so you're running around the game in your kind of optical camouflage, which isn't the best camouflage. You've still got an outline, but enemy soldiers can't really see you. It makes it a bit easier to move around. And because it's team-based, you kind of... it's also really, really cover-based at the same time. So the whole idea is to move your team into a really, really good position before you start sending kind of volleys of shots over. So as I'm running through the first level, our team kind of come across like the first few guys, the kind of testers, and we make a bit of a kerfuffle of it. We blast the shit out of them because it's easy. But, you know, that's awesome. We move on to the next section. There's a few more people, kind of muddle our way through that. And we move on to the very next section, and it's got like 50 guys in there. We try to do our cover-based attack, but we get the shit blown out of us. And this kind of point is we got told about this, the main character, who's called Kuzak, has his own, and only one person per team can be Kuzak. And his unique ability is to have this, like, drone, which is basically, once again, another optic kind of stealth drone, which can be driven into a battlefield and kind of used to mark and place, you know, where the enemy are, so you can figure out where's the best way to flank as a team.
Kind of like in Bad Company 2.
To a degree, but better. Well done. You can also pick up grenades and stuff for it, and it can become a good. You can effectively spend a whole level without firing a gun and work more as a controller and more of a tactician and let your team do all the moving for you. Same with the snipers.
Is it like a little pocket thingy that he pulls out of his pocket and throws up, like a little gyrocopter?
It's like like mini hovercraft. Is
cool.
a way to put it.
I know the one you mean now. I know what you're on about.
Yeah, so as we got the shit kicked out of us. It's a fantastic thing when we got to this point where we was getting the shit kicked out of us. It's one kill. So as soon as someone in your team dies, you have to restart that whole section. So it's a really, really, really like huge onus on getting to cover, protecting yourself. When someone does start dying and they start bleeding out, you've literally got 10 seconds to get to him. If he's died in a ridiculous place where there's no cover, you're fucked. You can't do anything about it, and you know he can crawl a little bit, but you know the whole idea is it's really like the whole game is just pushing you to work as a really good like responsive tactical unit. The gnarly thing is, like the second time we played that section, we died. We got through it. I wouldn't say easily, but comfortably, and like feeling like a bit of a ninja because we kind of knew what we was doing then. And it's really weird because I don't know about you, when you play co-op games, I can get really, really frustrated with other people, where they go, where they move, what they don't do.
Yeah, I have to be. If I'm not playing, I will play with a very select group of people on co-op games. Like I could probably play with you, and I could play with Ant. I couldn't play with fucking Joey. I could play with my mate Otter. That's probably it.
So this one, I've never met these guys before, and we were fucking ripping it. Like we came away from it feeling absolutely like shaking each other's hand. You know, good game, well done. You did the right thing. Like, and I've never played a game which has intuitively done that, especially a war game. I don't know. The game's made it easy, but really, like, it punishes you. The moment you're out of cover, the moment you're not working as a team, you get fucked. But as long as you're working as a semi-decent team and not being a fucking idiot, it's really comfortable. Right. Yeah, it's really, really nice. The other thing I kind of wanted to speak about is how the cover works. It's got, like, this kind of smart, quick cover system. So, you know, when you're snapping into cover, think Gears of War. When you snap,
you just sort of push A and you slam up against
charging and cover. It has that, but if you look to one side with your thumbstick, either way, it will have an arrow pointing to the next bit of cover. When you press A and run, it kind of magnetizes you then towards that bit of cover, so you're not hitting the edges of stuff or missing your cover by a mile. So it's also very intuitive the way it does that, and I really.
Oh, so you sort of target where you're going to next.
Yeah, but you know you're not forced to, but it will magnetize you towards that area if you're still pressing A and pointing towards that direction. Another thing, and it will sound ridiculous, it won't sound right, but when you're in cover and the enemy spots you, they will fucking plow you. They will just shoot constantly. They will bombard you with everything they've got. You may not, you know, in any game, you always get shot when you're in cover, and it doesn't really matter because you're in cover. You know, you don't really think about it. But in this one, the camera kind of like goes down to slightly below you a little bit and pulls out a bit and shakes loads and loads with every bullet what comes, and also you get a load of false feedback. And it doesn't sound like much, but it made every kind of oh shit, they've seen me moment really, really, really matter. Like, and it made it.
You feel like you're under fire.
It was so fucking intense. You're like, I've got to get out of here right now because if I die, the team's fucked again. So, yeah, and it's a really simple little thing they've done, but it really, really like paid like dividends to just make the whole area a lot better. I really, really enjoyed it, and you know, all the beta codes are out now, and it should be what I played the other day. So I'd suggest everyone plays it. Oh,
actually, I'll tell you what. We've got some beta codes.
Do you want to throw a few out?
They've sent us. We could throw a few out. I haven't got them here with me at the minute. Jen's got them on her email somewhere. If
tweet us.
If anyone who's listening to the podcast, how many have we got? Have we got like fucking?
We got We got 9 PS3 ones and about 20 Xbox ones.
Say we'll do 2 of each. Like we'll give away a pair so that somebody and a mate can play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever tweets us.
Yeah. Right. Ryan owes me a beta code.
No. Tweet us the best Joey insult. no.
The best Joey insult.
Yes.
And
Outstanding.
whoever gets that. Before we, so that's our tweet. You wanted to know about the Kinect Gunsmith quickly.
Is it good? Because it should
I had
be.
about 5 minutes with it, and I got pissed off with it. So it works like Gunsmith, like normal mode. You've got a million billion options, but it kind of works like Minority Report. You're putting your hand up, you're spinning your hand over here, you're lifting up to go into a menu. You're not grabbing things per se, but you're going hand through, like palming through menus and selecting and agreeing. That's fine, and you can also spin your gun the whole time. Like, it's kind of cool, but that's fun. But what relevance is that? The next.
That sounds a bit like the that like mode in Forza 4 with Kinect, Forza, where you could like kind of gawk at the car and just walk around it, and it's like, this works.
Why?
But
it doesn't need to be here.
Now the reason they've kind of put it in, that how they backed it up, is by having, you can then go onto a firing range and then use your hand to try out your gun.
I was going to ask you if you did this, because this looks fucking retarded.
Right. I found it so hard to, like, right, so you move your hand up, and then you move your hand around, and that's your receptacle within the screen you are looking at. So I couldn't quite figure out how moving it properly. When you hold your hand up for about 3 seconds, your gun starts shooting. So, imagine someone who hasn't been taught how to use it. I'm thinking put my hand up, but it starts shooting. Put my other hand up, it still keeps on shooting. How the fuck am I meant to move my aimer to shoot at these targets? Like, think about it.
Fuck knows.
Because in the E3 thing, I thought that the way it worked is you had one hand, you were kind of like Superman with one hand.
Yeah, moving
at
that to aim.
And then your other hand, like, you opened your fist to fire and then clenched it to stop
It might have been
firing.
the fist then. That might have been it. I didn't get... Anyway, so...
It's all about the fisting.
All about
with
fisting.
Ghost Recon. That's all.
So anyway, I got quite bored of that anyway, quite quickly. But the real question I've got is that, right, you made a weapon out of Gunsmith and you're trying it out on a range just to make sure that you're happy with, I don't know, the weighting of the gun. And I understand that completely, but your hand ain't a fucking control pad. It's going to feel completely different when you're shooting that gun with a control pad, as opposed to your hand, which has no Kinect support or force feedback or rumble pack inside your finger.
I hate to be cynical, but I think they've just shoehorned it in because it's what Microsoft wants the big devs to do at the moment. And yeah, it's bobbins. It has nothing to do with the game, but, well, it's in there. It's a bit like Mass Effect, a bit like Kinect Forza. It's going to happen, isn't it? Until they get the technology actually working on the next set of consoles.
Yeah, it was just a bit naff. Also, after we played a bit of the game, there was a Q&A session with some of the devs. I can run through some bullet points just quickly if you guys want. Just a bit of, I guess, pre-news. DLC is planned for release.
Really?
Yeah.
DLC for
never
a
would.
game?
I mean,
Fuck. Who fucking asked that question?
I don't want to say.
It's like, well, at this point, isn't that really annoying? 'Cause it's like, you're planning on releasing DLC
Before the game's released.
Don't tell me that before you've released the game. That's like me going to a restaurant and I'm saying, here's your meal. Just to let you know, we're cooking your meal now. We're planning on cooking it properly in 10 minutes' time. But not now. Like, we're going to wait and give you, like, the rest of the food. We're going to give you your main bit, but, like, your side dishes we'll just bring out later.
Okay. Yeah, I weren't big on that, but, you know, you can't really turn around to a dev and go, you fucking idiot, can you? You know, it don't really work like that. We got kicked out straight away.
You absolute cock.
What? The gunsmith attachments, the way your new weapons and stuff get unlocked is you get it by completing 3 different types of challenges, like be it collect the package, defend this area, capture the flag. I thought that was quite good, and as well in one of the multiplayer modes, in one of like there's 3 different there's 4 multiplayer modes. There's conflict, which is objective based scoring, so you need to do certain objectives what come up in the game to get points, and it doesn't actually count kills. And I thought it was really, really good that a shooting game doesn't put too much onus on how much killing you do. Once again, it's how well you work as a team and how you get these objectives. Because, you know, every time we play Battlefield, there is someone who just goes around trying to kill people and doesn't think about trying to take the flag or whatever. I really, really like that idea. There's also Saboteur, which is like a capture the flag style game, but it's with a bomb. When whoever's got the bomb then isn't encumbered, he can only use his sidearm. He walks slowly. He then has to walk to a certain area to detonate the bomb. There's a hardcore mode, which is 2 teams, which is a last man standing idea. But there's also the attacking team will have to complete an objective, but you can win just by killing everyone.
That's search and destroy from Call of Duty.
There's also Decoy, which is a free objective base mission where one team defends and the other one's attacking. The kind of spin on it, the decoy aspect, is that 2 of the objectives are fake. So you kind of like, it's a bit of a luck of the draw about what idea you're doing. You know, you could literally win a game in 2 minutes, or it could be 20 minutes and you can get your ass handed to you. One thing what did happen, which I also wanted to stand to the devs and go, you dickheads, about, is that only the single player mode has got 3D support. And I didn't quite understand that.
It could be a processing and frame rate issue.
Yeah, so why bother putting it in the first place if it's a co-op heavy game? I just couldn't.
No, it could be a hardware issue more than
Well, I imagine.
I mean, let's be honest. It's 3D. Like fucking 1% of people are going to use it. It's just there because it's there for the sake of it.
Also, sorry, I also thought this was a really good idea. To prevent spawn killing, they've basically, once you've been spawn killed or put into a certain area a few times, the game instantly opens up new spawning locations, which are randomised.
Alright, that's clever, so it moves you around.
It keeps track of how much you fucked up or how much you've been getting raped, and then it moves you away to some other place. They've really, really tried to think about, like, you know, griefing.
Well, Halo's a bit like that,
Really?
actually, thinking about it, isn't it? Yeah, Halo's got multiple spawn points, like, all over a map and that, so if you get, like, it deliberately won't spawn you near anybody else.
Awesome. It's also got, right, so where we got this optical camouflage, which we're a bit dubious it actually exists in real life, you can use that in multiplayer, but if you're running too fast, it goes away, or if you get shot, it goes away, whereas single player renders you practically invisible. I really like that idea because someone brought up the idea of, like, you know, invisible enemies are like the worst thing in computer games. It's almost as bad as a fetch quest. So yeah, I thought that was fucking awesome.
I have a joke about spawn killing.
Also, sorry, before you start doing that, I got 2 more. All the the gunsmith items, they're all unlockable in the beta mode. You can't carry them over, but literally you've got access to the whole fucking, like, every.
Oh, right, so they don't copy over, but you can try
Yeah,
at
so
least.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we did ask, like, oh, did Tom Clancy have anything to do with the actual writing of this game? And
Yeah, it's fuck all to do with it now. I think they just bought the
they
name
literally
off
just said, yeah, he's got a name. And that was it. Like, yeah, he gave us his name.
I'm sure Ubisoft bought Tom Clancy's name off him.
I wouldn't be surprised. Tom Clancy has no name.
He's now called Trevor
Yeah,
Smith.
his name's like Trevor McPower.
Trevor McPower.
Trevor McPower, that's a right name. No, hi there, Trevor McPower. How do you do? Glad to make
You know, we've been going for like an hour and a half without a break. I think we should wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, should we just fuck it up?
Can I tell my spawn killing joke?
End on a good one.
What do you call a hand grenade in a maternity ward?
I don't know. What do you call a hand grenade in a maternity ward? I don't like where this is going.
Spawn killing. Break
Good.
time. You've been brilliant.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Fucking hell.
Good night. Bye. Oh dear.
I knew you'd like it.